name is Chef Swole, and we are on a mission to defeat Elden Ring from start to finish using every single one of the 411 unique weapons that this game has to offer. Today's weapon is the Iron Greatsword, and it was requested to us by Jay over on YouTube. So if you have a weapon that you want to see next, leave it in the comments below, and when we get to that weapon in the video, we'll shout you out in the intro. Now, as far as the Iron Greatswords goes, we're going to be taking a deep dive into what is the optimal starting class if you want to do a run with the Iron Greatsword. Is the weapon best dual-wielded, single-wielded with two hands, etc.? What stats should you upgrade, and in what order? Are there any soft caps, hard caps that we should hit? After we go over the optimal starting class and the leveling strategies to maximize the weapon, we're going to go into a full breakdown of the build. From there, we will be doing a voiceover showcasing the 14 required boss fights that this game has in order to make you become the Elden Lord. Once all that is done, we will rate this weapon in a tier list from S tier, A tier, C tier, D tier, or the bottom tier, the broken straight sword tier, based off of how it compares to the other weapons that we have used thus far. So sit down, strap in, and without further ado, let's get into the starting class. The optimal starting class when using the Iron Greatsword is going to be the hero starting class, because the Iron Greatsword requires 10 dexterity and 18 strength to use, and this class brings us in the closest to those requirements. We have 9 dexterity, so we'll need to level up that's 1 point to 10, and then from there 2 little levels to strength, and we'll be ready to use our Iron Greatsword. Once we have these starting stats, you want to upgrade the stats in this order. Start with Vigor, getting that 14 up to 30. This is going to help out with early game survivability. From there, get your Endurance up to 15 if you're going to be armorless, or if you want to wear your jump armor and still get off the attacks you need to, like we did, let's get pump it up to 20. From there, we are going to blow up our strength. This is the weapon's primary damage source, and especially because we're using the heavy affinity, our strength is going to be the only scaling that this weapon requires. So get your strength up to 45 before switching back to vigor, getting that to 50 for that late mid-game and late-game survivability. From there on out, we are going to be spamming strength many points as possible, because with the heavy affinity, we get an A scaling with this weapon, meaning the more strength, the better. Now that we know the optimal starting class, the stats to upgrade, and in what order, let's go to a full breakdown of the build. Now that we've gone over the starting class and we know what stats to upgrade and in what order, let's go over the build for the Iron Greatsword. And this is a very fun one today. One Iron Greatsword is nice, but what's the only thing better than one Iron Greatsword? It's 2 Iron Greatswords. So when using this weapon, go ahead and find 2 of them, 2 of the Greatswords, and you want to set their affinity to the heavy affinity with the Ash of War Craig's Blade. This is going to further increase its physical damage as well as the weapon's stagger potential, which will make do in great haste. Next, you want to add jumping armor. If you in the base game, you can have the Raptor's Black Feather, or if you have the DLC, the more stylish Greybird's Black Coat armor will do the exact same 10% boost for jump attacks, but it just looks a little bit better. Next up, for our talismans, we want to stack our jump armor with our Claw Talisman. This is going to make sure every one of our jump attacks do an additional 15% more damage. 15% plus 10% gives us a total of 25% more damage when they're jumping. Next up, we added the Ritual Sword Talisman. So as long as we're at full health, this is going to give us an additional 10% damage boost. 10% on top of 10 on top of 15 equals 35 whenever we're at full. Next up, because of the weapon class, the Greatsword, and because of the Ash of War, again, we are using the Craig's Blade, which is going to increase our poise damage even more. Our third talisman, we have added the Dagger Talisman. That means when enemies are staggered, our critical hits will be getting an 18% boost, oftentimes finishing them off. And rounding out our talisman slot number 4 is the Dragon Crest Great Shield to give us a massive physical damage negation boost. That's going to stack with our Psychic Frost tier, the European Heart tier, which will give us another physical damage as well as magic and other damage types for the first 3 minutes of our fight. And last but not least, we're going to round out that Psychic Flask with the Green Burst Crystal tier. So as we're jumping and dodging and spamming these amazing Iron Greatswords, we're going to be recovering our stamina in flux. So now that we've gone over the build, let's get a quick example of how it looks all together on a random NPC. Whenever you start a boss fight, you're going to go ahead and drink your flask. You're going to two-hand your left argument by holding down Y and left trigger. Activate your Ash of War. You'll on two-handed by holding down Y, right trigger, and then you'll activate your Asher Sword again. Now we've got Craig's Blade buff on both of our Iron Greatswords, and you will engage the enemy with a jump attack. All right. As you can see, the stagger damage of this weapon is incredible. As we get off a quick stagger, a quick critical hit, and while he is in the recovery animation, an easy victory. Ain't no build like a bonk build, swear fam, and this bonk build is a hell of a ride. So, now that we've gone over the build, we've seen a quick example, let's go into the 13 required boss fight to become an Elden Lord, starting with the first boss, Margit. So the idea behind fighting Margit with this boss is you want to pop your Psychic Flask, and then you want to two-hand the left weapon and proc the Craig's Blade Ash of War, on-two-hand it, proc it on the right. So right when we enter the fight, we're able to start using our jump attacks, and we can get a 3-1 off right from the bat. Here's one. We are able to trade with him for the second, follow him up, and sometimes you're able to get a stagger with 3. That time it was a little bit out of our range, so we do have to get that 4th one to proc the stagger, finish up the fight with the critical strike, and as you can see, 1 hit taken, fight over in less than 20 seconds. Morgott with the Iron Greatsword is a difficulty of only a 1 on 10, and this particular fight is going to give a preview of the rest of the entire run. You see the jump attacks getting in and out, the ability to dodge quickly, punish enemies is at a loss to what is come in the run. This difficulty is a 1 on 10. We're going to head up to Starnville Castle now and see how the build does against Godrick. So Godrick is another one of those bosses, these early game bosses, where there's going to be some guaranteed punish windows, particularly for him when he transitions from phase 1 to phase 2. He's going to start off with a very long flamethrower attack with a lot of animations. We'll get over that more as we go, but for now, after he does his grab attack attempts or some of his other jumping attacks, then we're going to get a free window in order to hit him. This flurry attack is another great window. We're going to see him do 4, 5, a final 6 strike, dodge to that, jump, and punish him immediately. Now his ground slam attack is going to be a double sort of a earthquake, which we can jump over, and then follow that up with an immediate punish. While he is chopping off his grafted arm, we can hit him a couple more times, and while this isn't going to take out a big chunk of his health, what it does is it builds up the stagger meter. So when phase 2 starts, we know he's very close to a stagger, as we see right here. If he had a little bit more health, we would have hit the stagger, but it's no health, no problem. Godrick goes down. We didn't get him during phase 1, but right when that phase 2 transition started, we were able to take care of the weasel. The difficulty with the Iron Greatsword ends up being a 2 on 10 as we continue to the castle. When fighting the Red Wolf, you want to pop your Psychic Flask right before you get into the arena, because he's going to have a couple key windows to punish. One of them is going to be when he does his downward slam attack. When he's doing his magic attacks and flying around the arena, you want to just dodge into those, and when he slams, dodge forward into him, and you can see just 1 hit with this build setup takes out about half of the wolf's health there, as we miss time a heal and get stun animation locked. He's going to do his sword attack. All is fine here. We're just waiting for another window. Even if you want to trade for a window like we did there, you see just the amount of damage we do compared to him. We're even able to tank the magic attacks. It's a very easy fight. We had to take a couple hits to trade there, but it ended up being a 3 on 10 because we did get hit a few times. As we head up to the Moon Queen, it's important to note that the build with this setup doesn't have the most resistance for magic. So for bosses like Rennala, Gideon, we're going to keep that in mind as we head upstairs to face down the Moon Queen, Rennala. So the first phase of Rennala involves getting 3 of her minions that have a light bulb over their heads. So we'll take out minion number 1 there. When we look for the next light bulb to go off, we see it's over here. We'll take down this one. And then there will be a third and final light bulb going off that we hit out of frame here. And when she falls down, the prerequisite to getting a 1 on 10 difficulty for Rennala is going to be if we can finish her off before she gets to cocoon back up, as we did there. So phase 2 is going to start, and we are going to charge her down. She's going to do her hyper beam attack. We're going to dodge to it, and we're going to hit a jump attack, and we see an incredible amount of damage. about 25% of her health is going to be gone. She is going to cowardly hide up in her moon, so that's a bit of unfortunate RNG, but it's going to be too little too late for the Moon Queen. We're able to use what we learned in the Red Wolf fight when using this weapon and this build to get around the magic attacks, not take too many unsafe windows, and make sure that we attack her not when we're trading with the magic, but only some of the physical attacks when necessary. That is going to require us to be very patient, and you see we're we've only attempted one attack at her before finally coming in again and then finishing her off before she can finish her summon. Because of that, the overall fight ended up being a very easy one. Only a 1 on 10 for Rennala. We first phased her. We beat her up in 3 hits after that. And we're heading upstairs to the Atlas Plateau. With the Dramatic Tree Sentinel, we want to get our build set up, pop our flask there, get our Craig's Blade on both of our weapons. And I'm thinking as we head into this fight, we ride the horse, we do a jump attack as we dismount, and you see it getting off cleanly there because we know this boss is going to do not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 attacks right from the start. 4 hits from us put it in a stagger stance. You notice we crutch with our character. That's simply to recover the stamina. And 5 hits ends the boss. It's over almost before you can blink. The Dramatic Tree Sentinel is normally a skill check type of boss, but if you use this weapon, the Iron Greatsword, and you use this strategy that we implemented and showed here, you're going to be able to practically cheese your way through the fight. No difficulty at all. The 4 hits before it got off a single attack resulted in it getting stance broken. When it was stance broken, we hit it into a recovering animation where we finished it off. The difficulty is an easy 1 out of 10, and we are now heading upstairs to the Ghost of Godfrey. One of the best ways to punish the Ghost of Godfrey is with jump attacks, because this boss spends a lot of his time jumping away from you and stomping rocks up into the ground. If you jump over those rocks and on your way while you're in the air, punish him with a jump attack, you're going to make short work of this boss. So we're going to try to engage in some of those strategies here. We won't be able to do it this time because we needed to recover our stamina, but that's the basic idea. You want to crutch when you need to recover the stamina, follow up him jumping away from you and putting up rocks with a jump attack. And just like the Dramatic Tree Sentinel, the fight is over almost before it starts. Using this weapon with the scaling that we have, the Craig's Blade, a lot of people don't realize this. They know it adds stagger, but it also adds 10% physical damage. And considering these weapons are plus 25 and their affinity is set to the strength affinity, the damage is incredible, as you see in Godfrey going down the Ghost version in just 5 hits. Now, let's see how it does against a boss that's a little bit more mobile than the last two in the Dramatic Tree Sentinel and the Ghost of Godfrey with Margit, the Last Omen King. So when entering the arena against Margit, again, you're going to pop your Psychic Flask, you're going to pop your Craig's Blade on Weapon 1 and Weapon 2, and now we have a full, basically 55 seconds of Craig's Blade buffs right when the fight starts, which is going to be key in beating this boss before he has a chance to get going. All right, when you start the fights, get that jump attack in. Even if you have to trade for a hit, it's going to be well worth it. This build will allow you to finish up on that trade. Whenever he does his holy attacks or his jump attack like he just did there, that is oftentimes a great time to get in a hit. If you see that hammer go down, it's okay sometimes to even absorb the hits like we did in order to follow it up with a heal and a guaranteed punish as he puts down the Swords of Revealing Light. He does get off that sword attack barely, but we trade him with it, and he's going to start transitioning into phase 2. With that phase 2 transition, we unfortunately get hit by some cursed blood, but he is almost in a staggerable stance because he has not been his stance broken yet. We will dodge the roll, and if you get caught on it, as long as you set up the build like how we showed you in the build screen, you can actually tank one of these, follow up into his Ash of War, tank that as well, heal back to full, take a fully charged Holy Heavy, and this is all due to the setup, the build that we broke down in the very beginning. It's going to give you a chance to, even when things go wrong, still have the answers, as you see here throughout this onslaught of attack after attack. Couple poor dodges, couple big attacks from this boss has made it to where even though that we are in a heap of trouble, we are able to take enough hits to get out of there, dodge to his attack, and get the finishing blow as he tries to grab us again. The overall difficulty of Morgott ended up clocking in at a 5 on 10. He was a bit more able. Let's head up to the Fire Giant. Now, when you're fighting the fire giant, the first thing you want to do, obviously, go ahead, pop your Slacked Flask, pop your Craig's Blade, Ashes of War. Right there, we kind of messed up the order, so we had to make sure we had it on both of them. But it's no worries, because we're going to have plenty of time to take this boss down. Plus, when he transitions to phase 1 to phase 2, you can pop that Craig's Blade again. So if he does a shovel attack, dismount your horse, roll through it. We hop back on it here, we clears the distance. And a lot of people, myself included, thought you almost need a bleed to take out this fire giant in an easy manner. And you see right here with these jump attacks, we are in new game +5. He does not get away. We're able to take him out again, hit him with 2 more jump attacks before he finishes off his roll, does not escape us, and now just 20 seconds into the fight, he's going into phase 2, giving us a chance to reapply our Craig's Blade Ash of War and start wailing on his hands in front of us. We get 2 more jump attacks off. We followed up with a light attack, and now it's time to get out a dodge while he does his AoE. His AoE is going to put those volcanic rocks all over the screen. We'll tactfully dodge them, and then we want to close the distance in order to keep putting the pressure on him and potentially even get another stagger. This weapon, the Iron Greatsword, with this affinity, the heavy affinity, and the Ash of War Craig's Blade, has been absolutely devastating to all the mid-game bosses. This one being the last of those mid-game bosses, and he getting staggered in phase 1 before he even got a chance to roll away is just incredible and showcases the versatility of this weapon with all of the strength behind it, with the Craig's Blade Ash of War, the additional physical damage, and the additional stagger that provides. Now, in second phase, a lot of people will tell you, try to attack him from the hands. The hands are weaker, but the thing is, we know we're just a couple hits away from a stagger. We don't need to worry about his hands. We're able to get behind him, and the pure damage that this does with the scaling, getting 3 jump attacks is just chunk on his health, and it looks like he's only 2 hits away. So we do get some unlucky tech with his fire-breathing antics, but we'll just take him around and ride a little circle with him until he's done breathing fire. We'll let him roll because we know it's going to be too little too late. He'll do his fireball slingshots with no avail, and even if he tries to get away, he won't get away for long because the fire giant is done. We were never in danger of losing the fight. It is a true 1 on 10 difficulty with the Iron Greatswords, and a great warm-up as we head upstairs to the crumbling farm of Zuka. When fighting the Godskin Duo, you want to target the round one first and foremost because he is the more aggressive of the two. And being that we have these Craig's Blade Ash of War on this weapon at first, we decided to play it slightly more aggressive than normal and try to find a window of opportunity to hit the round one once, even though he's right next to the skinny one, which we are able to do, because we knew if we hit him about 3 times, we would get him into a staggerable state, or at the very least start his second phase. He is ready to start it up, letting us knock him out of his transition, effectively getting the fight into a one-on-one before it even starts. The benefits of this allows us to stay hyper aggressive, because if we had played it safe and backed off, our Craig's Blade buff would have worn out, meaning that each one wouldn't have been doing an additional 10% damage. Because we were so aggressive, we were able to keep the fight going, and now we are in a true one-on-one with each Godskin, 2 of them down one after another as the third one summons in, and we have plenty of time to make sure we bait out the correct attacks here, such as the fireball, which you can roll through, punish with the jump attack, his slam attack, which we can avoid, punish with the jump attack. As he does transition to phase 2, we do let the transition happen before hitting him again and finishing him off before he even gets a chance to get up into the air. The Godskins are going to be able to get summoned one more time, but they are going to be one hit. It's going to be too little too late for the Godskin Weasels, because we're chefing up some Godskin gumbo. The skinny one comes out, the fight ends. The difficulty of the Godskin Duo with the Iron Greatsword comes out at a true 1 on 10. This weapon is far outpacing what we thought it would. Let's see if the W's continue against Malkeith. When we're fighting phase 1 Malkeith, we don't want to hit him too fast. Reason for that is we want to proc a stagger right when phase 2 starts, because that's when he is going to be at his most dangerous. And if we can stagger him when he's at his most dangerous, we can critical strike him, punish him, and really get the fight over before it gets started. So we're going to really slow play this phase 1, and you'll see us here not taking advantage of every single hit, because when you hit a boss, their stagger starts building up. but the longer you wait before you hit them again, the least it builds up after that. So we get a couple hits in here, and I know it's going to take about 4 consecutive hits in order to proc it. So right here, instead of trying to be aggressive, we decide to take our time and get him 4 hits. But with those slight delays, we know that the stagger is going to be intimate either within the first or the second hit. We're going to go through and roll and follow that up with another jump attack. Surprisingly, he doesn't get staggered, but the damage is already done. We're able to follow this up with another hit, and he gets a double roll animation, causing us to get the last hit in, proc the stagger in the fight with the critical hit. The damage has already been done. The difficulty on Malkeith ends up being a 1 on 10 with the Iron Greatswords. Easy dubs, lots of love. Let's head up to the Ashen Capital. So the Gideon fight is going to be extremely challenging if we don't get him on the first try, because when you first enter his arena, he's going to be speaking Japanese to you. That's where we like him. We didn't like him spamming magic right when we come in. So we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that he does that. So we pop all of our buffs right before we enter, and we're able to hit him right away with a jump attack. We're able to get a second one as he tries to debuff us. Follow him where we know he's rolling for a third. We know he's going to be going for a health potion. We can hit him with a light attack, line up our jump attack again. He does manage to dodge through it, and he does manage to get up his magic again. We'll dodge that. He does get his physical buff. We'll heal up here, just because if he pops us with that, we're going to have a bad time. He's going to do his heavy magic attacks. We dodge them all. He tries to get the debuff. We slam him before he does. He actually hits us a few times here, and we choose to tank the hits, heal back up, get in between the rings of light as they come, and then en route on his way back, we're going to be able to go through the rings this time. We know he's almost done. He's about 1 hit away, but so are we. If we're up to full health, we get the buff of our Ritual Sword Talisman. He does clip us with that magic, but it's too little too late. Gideon's down. A couple hits were taken, so it's not a true 1 on 10. We do end up at a nice even 2 on 10 difficulty rating. Overall, the Iron Greatsword is performing very well, but now it seems to see how it fares against the first Elden Lord, Godfrey. So the Godfrey fight, he actually got us a couple of times before this attempt, and that is because when you're doing your jump attacks with this, especially in phase 2, if you don't time out the stagger correctly, you're going to have a tough time with the phase 2, and it's going to be a little bit more RNG dependent. So because of that, focus on not trying to stagger him in phase 1, similarly to the Malkeith fight, so we can try to proc that stagger right when phase 2 starts. Here, just like the case to Godfrey, we want to be able to punish the jump attacks. When he jumps away from us, stomps on the ground, we want to make sure we answer that with a jump attack of our own, as we see right here, jumps, and then we have ample time to dodge the attacks and then punish him with an attack of our own. He's going to pull it out to the ground here. We get another jump attack. He flies away from us. For that one, he goes into the animation where he rises this foot up. This lets us ideally dodge through it. He does hit us there, but luckily we're able to not quite proc the stagger yet, meaning that it is going to be very close. So we dodge to the grab. We hit him once. I was initially going to go for that second hit, but when I saw that he was going towards his Relentless Fury Swipes attack, we knew that we needed to take just a little bit of a break. He goes for another grab. We can dodge right out of it, finally punish him, and we see he does actually go for a Fury attack here, and he almost finishes us off, but we are able to get out of there, heal back up to full as he goes for his double stop animation, and that is going to be the last mistake that the first Elden Lord does, because we can get off 2 jump attacks here. His slam scream attack is going to be too little too late at this point. He is just about 2 hits away from dying due to all the damage we were able to get off during that animation. The grab gets him within 1 shot and lets us finish off the first Elden Lord in short order. Now, we did die a couple of times, as I mentioned, and when you're doing this fight, you want to pay attention to the witness that we showed you here and not get greedy like we did in early attempts. But if you follow the advice on this video, you're not going to have a hard time at all. The difficulty rating ends up being a 6 on 10 using the Iron Greatswords against Godfrey. Let's head upstairs and finish out the fight. So you want to proc your buffs right before you enter the arena, because Radagon is going to stand there foolishly at the start of the fight, letting us run him down and get him with 2 jump attacks. And again, this build being predicated on using the Craig's Blade, getting that stagger built up is going to come into effect here, and we are going to see a big stagger from Radagon very soon as we get a 3rd jump attack, dodge to this attack, dodge to the follow-up, hit him with our fourth one, and now we know his stomp attack's coming. We dodge the stomp, we hit him, and before he goes into the air, we are able to break his stance, followed up as a critical strike. In order to punish, wait until that foot gets to the ground, and now he's going to go for his triple slam. Here's one slam, here's two slams. We will punish him as he charges his third slam, go around, dodge to it, 4, and finish off the Radagon fight before he hits us with a single attack. Instead of celebrating, we are going to reapply our Craigsblade Ash of War and get ready for the Elden Beast. Radagon, though, was an easy 1 on 10. Let's see what his pet has in store for us now. So the Elden Beast is extremely vulnerable to getting staggered, but you have to be able to hit him in succession. So you see right there, that jump attack was a missed jump attack, and that is going to be key in this fight in case you start getting confused why he wasn't staggered, because if we had landed that jump attack, we would have broken a stance there. However, because we just missed one, he gets just enough health gone, about 1/3, to trigger his ring around the rosy attack. When he's ringing around the rosy, he is getting his recovery for his stance back. So that means all the damage that we did to him to get his stance down when he was about 1 hit away from getting stance broken, it's no longer there. So we're completely back to square zero as far as resetting him. And it is time instead to punish, to heal up because of a couple missed dodges, 2 to be exact, giving the Elden Beast time to go into his melee attack. This just goes to show that with a weapon like the Iron Greatswords, even when things go poorly, you're still going to go overall relatively well. We're able to hit him a couple times as he starts his Elden Stars account, a 3rd time, a 4th time, and I'm like, where is the stagger at this point? We missed the jump. We know he's going to go into his triple ring around the rosy attack now, but even without the stagger, if you take a look at the Beast health, he's at about 25%. Even with no stagger, the amount of damage this weapon does with a high strength build, if you use our device at the start of the video where we talked about the best way to utilize the Iron Greatsword with a strength affinity, that A scaling of strength, and A scaling is very rare, and being able to utilize weapons, one in each hand with 2 of them, you just see, even when things are going wrong, the damage that it does is going to save you, and the Elden Beast is no stranger to this punishment. We just see a big chunk of him go down again and again, and now he is once again going for his Holy Sweep attack. It's once again going to be too little too late. He's once again going to turn around, go for the slam. We dodge to it. We'll heal up to full. He's 2 attacks from dead. We get him with a jump. We get him with a light attack, and the Elden Beast goes down. Not quite as easy as the Radagon fight. The difficulty with the Iron Greatsword ends up clocking in at a 6 on 10 difficulty. And now that we've broken down all the 14 mandatory bosses on a scale of 1 to 10 with the Iron Greatsword, it's time to head over to our tier list and see where this weapon lands. Now that we've gone over a breakthrough of all the 14 required bosses to become the Elden Lord using the Iron Greatsword, we can assess where it lands on our tier list. The average difficulty rating on a scale of 1 to 10 when fighting these 14 bosses ended up coming in at a very low 2.34 out of 10, making the Iron Greatsword a surprisingly phenomenal choice to wield by your side as you become the Elden Lord. This weapon is incredible both in New Game and in New Game Plus, as the requirements to it are low. The scaling is amazing, particularly with the heavy affinity. Slapping on the Ash of War that we used during this, the Craigsblade, pushes over the physical damage and the stagger to neck-breaking records, and we are able to stun lock and overwhelm the majority of enemies in this game without too much difficulty. That being said, because the weapon is a great sword and because it is having lower requirements to use, also there are great swords that can do the same thing this weapon does, but slightly better. For that reason, this weapon is not going to quite get in the S tier. The Greatsword is an amazing weapon class. This weapon did perform better than Morgott's Curse Sword. It performed better than the Ring Finger, but it did fall slightly short of the Ichi Katana, leaving it in a solid A tier for its tier ranking. But enough about what I think. Let me know what you think. Where would you personally put the Iron Greatsword in the tier list? Does it belong in the elite of the elite weapons in the S tier? Or is this weapon absolutely buns and should be chucked into the broken straight sword bin along with the torch and bear's bouquet? How would you personally run a build if you were playing with the Iron Greatsword? What would you change? Let me know in the comments below. I always love hearing from you. And until next time, fellow Tarnished, stay maidenless.